What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video on how to create this amazing portfolio website with React.js and Scss. In our last tutorials, we've created this nice header with the animation. We also created the theme template with functionality of light mode and dark mode. We also added 7 different template colors. We created the about section with a nice overlay effect on the cards. We also created this project section. So in this video, we are going to continue from where we stopped by building the blog section and the contact me section. If I navigate to the completed project and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see the blog section and the contact me section. So basically, this is what we are going to build in this video. If I also navigate to the blog page, you will see additional thing that has been added to the blogs, which is the image. And of course, we are going to do all that in this video. So before we actually get started, for those who are just seeing this video for the first time, we have actually started building this project. And if you really want to join along, make sure that you watch the part 1 and the part 2 on how to create this portfolio website. Of course, the link will be in the description below. So with that being said, let's get started. And now I'm in my text editor, and I'll navigate to my src folder, go to the component folder, and click on blog compo. So in here we have JSX file and the SCSS file. Both of them are empty. And inside the JSX file, I will run my command RAFCE to create a React functional app as usual. And I will right away import my SCSS file before I forget. And at the top, I want to import a few things from React Review. And basically, we've already discussed about that in our last tutorials. It is an animation library for React. So I will import Reveal from React Review, and it's coming from Reveal. I will also import Fade from React Review /fade, like so. And one more important thing that I have to import is the blog data. And for me to show that to you in action what that blog data is, I'll navigate to my data folder and click on blog data.jsx. If I open it up, you will see an array of objects, whereby each object represents each item for the blogs. For example, inside the first object, we have the ID of that specific blog, we have the title, we have the brief, the slug, date added, the cover image, and then the URL. So basically, I got this data from Ashnode API, and I customized it a little bit in order to fit my own use case. So that is why I have all this information on my blogs that I do post on Ashnode. So we are going to iterate over this object and display everything nicely on our web page. So with that being said, let me navigate to my blogs.jsx and import blog data from data and then the blog data. Okay, I'll also make use of use effect and use state. So let me import use effect and use state from React, like so. So inside my return statement, I'll go with section, and the section is going to have a class name of section-blog and another class name of blog-home-section and another class name of section__padding. So inside the section tag, I'll go with a div, and the div is going to have a class name of blog-header. So inside the div, I'll go with the first paragraph, and it's going to have a class name of blog-header. And inside the p tag, I'll go with latest news. And right after the first p tag, I'll go with h2. And the h2 is going to have the text of my latest news or my latest articles, like so. And right after the h2 tag, I'll go with another p tag, and it's going to have a class name of blog underscore description, and inside the p tag I'll write a bunch of text which I've already copied out like so, and just after the p tag I'll go with a span, and basically this span will enable us to add some custom styles, this horizontal line beside the latest news text that we have right there. Okay, so that is why we have empty span over there. And just after the div, we are going to go with the reveal that we import from React Reveal. Okay, so let's go with reveal, and it's going to fade from the left, and inside the reveal I'll go with a div, and this div is going to have a class name of fake-big, and it's going to be blog. Okay, so right after this reveal, I'm going to go with another div, and this div is going to have a class name of blog-wrapper and another class name of blog-home-wrapper. And inside this div, we are going to iterate over the blog item that we import from data.js. And for us to get that, we need to create a use state. And basically this one is going to be blog, and we are going to set the function to set blog, and go with our use state. And by default, okay, let's go with our use state, and by default the value is going to be empty array. So we are going to use the use effect. So when the page renders, we are going to set all the values. We are going to set the array to this use state block that we create right there. So let's go with set blog, and let's set the value to blog data. Okay, so now don't let us forget our empty dependency array in order to avoid the infinite loop like so. And now if I actually console.log data, you will see, okay, sorry, if I console.log blog, I navigate to my web page, we should see some kind of values in our console, but I think we can't see anything right now, and that is because we have to import the blogs inside the home.jsx. So let's navigate to the pages folder and go to home, open the home.jsx, and let's import blog, and it's coming from // the component folder, and then the blog compo, and then the blog.jsx like so. So right now under the project page, I'll just pass in the blog that I just import and close it out. So if I navigate back to my web page, and let me close everything out and refresh. So now if I click on inspect mode and go to the console, we should see some kind of values that is coming from data.js. Okay, yeah, of course. So basically all this array, we are going to iterate over it. We're going to iterate over all this array and display them nicely on the web page. Okay, so we have the brief, the cover image, the date added, and so on. So instead of let's navigate back to the blogs.jsx, and instead of console log the item, we are actually going to, inside this div, let's go back to JavaScript land and map through our states, and we're going to give it a custom name called a blog post. And before we actually return anything, we need to destructure whatever we are getting back. So the first item is the ID, so I'll go with underscore ID, and then we have the title, we have the brief, and then we have the URL. and let's assign it to the blog post like so. And inside our return statement, I'll go with fade, and this one is coming from React Reveal, and all the articles are going to fade from the bottom. So let me specify it, and we also have to pass in the key to avoid any issue from React, and then I'll pass in the ID, and inside the div I'll go with article, and the article is going to have a class name of article dash section dash home. So inside the article I'll go with a div, and it's also going to have a class name of article dash description, and inside the div I'll go with the anchor tag, and then the href value is going to be the URL that is coming from the object, and inside the first anchor tag we have h2, and the value is going to be the title. Okay, so right after the first anchor tag I'll go with a paragraph, and the paragraph is going to hold the text of brief description about the blog. Okay, so right after the p tag I'll go with another anchor tag, and this anchor tag is going to have the href value is going to be the URL, and we'll also add a class name of switch. The class name is going to be switch underscore color, and inside the anchor tag I will write the text of read more like so. Okay, so let's navigate to our web page for us to see everything in action. And yeah, of course, this is everything that we got right here, but everything seems redundant, and for us to get the stylings that we want, we need to navigate to my GitHub repo and copy the SCSS styles. So let's do that. Go to my GitHub repo, go to the final code, and click on the src folder, and then the component, and click on blog compo. So inside this folder you should see the SCSS file. Just copy everything like so, and go back to your text editor, go to blogs.scss and paste everything you just copied. So don't worry about all this media query, okay? And one thing I want you to notice as well is that you can also add any breakpoint that you wish, because I think it's not every breakpoint that is being added, but actually it's responsive in most devices, but you can always add your own breakpoint. Okay, so let me scroll all the way to the top, and don't worry about this class's loading circle. We are not going to add this in this component like so. And the first class that we have is section blog. I added some kind of relative position, and we have blog wrapper. I set the display to grid. Grid template column is one fraction, and grid cap is children. And basically this is for mobile devices. Okay, and blog header, we have text align setter, we have the width 100%, max width 500 pixel, we have margin, which is 100 pixel auto. And basically if you go through all these classes, it is very easy for you to understand. And yeah, I think basically if you go through it one after the other, everything will be quite easy for you to understand. And we are also going to add more items, and don't worry, you will get to see all the classes that are not added yet. Okay, so for us to see everything in action, let's navigate to the web page, and it's okay. And now we have all these cards right here. Okay, so now I have the title, I have the brief description about the content, and I have this text that says read more. If I click on it, it's going to navigate me to my Astronaut profile, but I'm not going to do that. And this text, it's too much, so we need to reduce it a little bit with a JavaScript method called substring. And if I show you the completed project, you will see we have a few text right here, so we need to reduce the one that we have right here also. So let's navigate to my text editor, go to blocks.jsx, and beside the brief I will go with my method called substring. So go with substring, and the first character is going to start from 0, and we are going to go up to 150 character. So after the curly bracket, I'm just going to specify 3 dots to say that we have more text. And if I navigate to the web page, and you will see that the text has been reduced. Okay, so basically that is what we have right here. And for us to actually add more items to the blog page section, we need to create a separate component for that. Currently, when I click on it, we have a blank page. So we need to create a separate component and add the image, the title of the blog, and so on. Okay, so for us to do that, we'll have to navigate to my text editor. So for now, we can close everything out. Let's close everything out like so, and let's navigate to src, open the component and click on single post. Inside the single post folder, you will see single post.jsx and single post.scss. Okay, so in here you can run the command rafc to create a React functional app, and at the same time I will navigate to pages folder, and I will also go to blog page folder, and inside the blog page folder I will open the blog page.jsx and blog page.scss. Okay, so inside the blog page.jsx I will also run the command rafc to create a React functional component like so. So at the top, I'm going to import the single post component, and this one is coming from the component folder, and then the single post folder, and then we have the single post component. Okay, I'll also import the fade, and it's also coming from React reveal/fade, and I will also import the block data because we have to iterate over the array again and display it on our blog page. And it's coming from, I will navigate 2 steps backward and go to data folder and select the block data. Okay, so we're going to make use of the use state and then the use effect like so. And inside the blog page component, let me go with const to create our state. The first item is going to be blog, and then we set blog. So the value is going to be empty array for now. And let's go with our use effect. And the use effect, when the page renders, we are going to set blog. We are going to set our blog to blog data.js, blog data, like so. Okay, don't let us forget our dependency array to avoid infinite loop or whatever. So inside the return statement, I'll go with the React fragment, and in here I'll pass in my fade so that the block items will fade from the bottom. And right inside the fade, I'll go with section, and this section is going to have a class name of section __ block page dash, another class name of section __ padding. So inside the section tag, I'll go with a div, and the div is going to have a class name of section __ block page dash wrapper like so. So inside the div, we are going to iterate over this item and display everything nicely. So we need to go back to JavaScript land by specifying our curly bracket, and then we need to map through everything. So I'll go with another parenthesis, and then I'll have my post item, and the second one is going to be the index like so. So instead of destructuring everything, all I'm going to do is to return the single component. Okay, single component like so, and the key is going to be the index, and I'm going to use the spread operator to specify that all the item that is coming from this should be passed into this component. Okay, so what we have to do is to navigate to the single post component and destructure all the items that we are going to get back from this object. Okay, so let's go to single post, and inside the parentheses, I'm going to pass in the props, and I'm going to destructure it right here. Okay, so all the items that we are looking for, the first one is the title. So we have the title, we have the brief, we have the cover image, because we are going to use that in this component. We also have the URL, like so. So inside my return statement, I'm going to go with my parentheses and then React fragment, like so. And in here, I'll pass in my article. And this article is going to have a class name of section __ article. And inside the article, I'll have my img, and the source is going to be the cover image. You guessed it. And the art, you can just specify cover image. So right after the, okay, React knows that it is an image. So all we have to do is to say cover image, like so. And right after the image, I'll go with a div. And the div is going to have a class name of article __ styles, and another class name of switch __ color. Right after inside the div, I'm going to go with h2, and the h2 is going to hold the value of title, as usual, title. And right after this h2, I'm going to go with the p tag, and it's going to hold the value of brief. And remember that we called the method of substring in the last one, and we need to do the same thing for this one as well. So we'll pass in 150 character, like so, and let's specify ... to say that we have more text. Okay, so right after that, let's go with our anchor tag, and the href value is going to be the URL, and it's going to have a class name of switch __ color, like so. So inside the anchor tag, you just say read more, like so. Okay, so basically this is all we have to do, and let's navigate to our web page for us to see if we have any changes. So let's click on the blog, and let me refresh if you're going to see any results. And yeah, currently this is what we got. So of course the problem is the fact that I didn't import the SCSS style. Okay, so sometimes I do forget to do that. So let me go back to my text editor, go to blog page.jsx, and right after the blog data, let me import the blog page.scss. Okay, blog page.scss, and I have to do that. I have to do the same thing for the single post as well. So right after the import of React, let me import single post from the folder, single post.scss from the single post folder. Okay, so now let's navigate back to my web page, refresh, and yeah, we have everything nicely, but the issue here is that we still have issue with the image. Okay, so I think let's now get back to my text editor to find the issue, and we have cover image. I'm sorry, it should be cover image, not cover img. So let's go with cover image, and of course I think we should have our items right there. Okay, so let me refresh. And yeah, basically I think everything is going to be displayed nicely. So now we have our blog. Inside the blog page, we have our blog item inside the home as well. I think everything is great, and yeah, So the next thing that we need to start working on now is the contact me section, and that one is going to take way more time because we need to add a lot of functionality for us to achieve the perfect outcome. Okay, so before we actually start doing everything, I remember that there are some class names that I added inside the project which I have already removed in the past. Okay, so some of them is the one that is located inside the blog compo folder. So let me go to blog compo folder and click on blocks.scss, and I will scroll all the way to the bottom where we have article-footer. I just remembered that I have already removed all these items from my project. Okay, so if you also come across this, you can remove it. It is not, I forgot to remove it when I was building the project. So I think yeah, basically the same thing with loading circle. You can comment it out because I might change my mind to add it, and for now let's just have it right there. Okay, so you can comment it out and delete the article, footer, and whatever that we did right now. So basically that's all we have to do. So now I'll close everything out and we are going to start building our contact me section. So let's navigate to the src folder and go to pages folder. You should see contact folder. So in here you should see contact.jsx and then the contact.scss. Inside the contact.jsx, I will create my React functional app, and we are going to make use of some hooks. So the first one is the use state, the second one is the use ref, and we are also going to make use of use effect. We are also going to make use of some React icons. So I've copied it out, so I'm just going to paste it like so. And for me to show the icons to you, if I click on send, you will see the exclamation icon. And at the same time, if I input some value and press send, you will see these check icons. Okay, so basically these are the two icons that I import from React icons. So right after that, I'm also going to import fade, and it's coming from React reveal / fade, and then go with reveal, React reveal / reveal. We're also going to make use of the blast animation component that we have been using from the beginning, and it's coming from // component / blast animation and then the component. Okay, we're also going to make use of another component called map, and this one is also coming from // components / map and then map. Okay, so basically this component is going to be in charge of the map that we are going to add right there. Okay, so let's navigate to component folder and go to map. Let's open the map component and create a React functional app like so. And let's navigate back to the contact.jsx and import the SCSS before we actually forget. Okay, like so. And the one thing that I also want to do is to import the SCSS file so that we can actually know what is going on the page. So let's navigate to my GitHub profile and go to the final code like so. And I'm sorry if this is getting repeated. I just want everything to be fast for us to develop. And yeah, basically that's it. So when you get here, navigate to the src folder and go to pages folder. Click on the contact folder. Okay, so when you get there, you will see the SCSS file, and you can open it and copy everything like so. Navigate back to your text editor and paste everything you just copied. Okay, so let's navigate back to contact.jsx, and inside the component we are going to create some states, and the first one is valid input and set valid input, and basically this one is going to keep track of some inputs that we're going to create. So the first one is the name, and the default value is going to be an empty string. We have message, same spells. We have email, and we have subject, like so. And right after that, we are going to target some DOM element with the useRef hook that we import. So the first thing that we are going to target is the email ref. So basically, this one is going to target the email input that we are going to create very soon, and the default value is going to be null. Okay, so you're also going to do that for the text area ref, and it's going to be equals to the useRef hook, and the default value is going to be null. Let's do the same thing for message ref. And one more variable called a form, and this one is going to target the form element, and we assign it to the useRef hook, and the default value is also going to be null. Okay, so right after that, I'll go with my parentheses and go with a React fragment. Now I'll go with a section tag, and the section tag is going to have a class name of contact dash section, and in here I'll go with a div. The div is going to have a class name of fake dash big, like so, and I'll pass in the @sign. Right after this div, let's go with the form tag, and the form tag is going to have a ref value of the form that we created right there, this one. So let's pass in the form, and it's going to have a class name, and the class name is going to be contact dash form, and we are also going to have onSubmit event. Okay, so the onSubmit event is going to have the function of onSubmit. We haven't created it yet, but I'm going to do that in a second, like so. So right after the useRef hook, I'm going to create a function called onSubmit, like so. It's going to be an arrow function. I want to console.log the event object, and I also have to pass it as a parameter right there, like so. And inside the form tag, I'll go with a div, and inside this div I'll go with my h2, and the h2 is going to have a class name of contact underscore heading, and inside the h2, remember, we have our blast component, and it has three props. The first one is the letter class, the second one is the array string, and the third one is the index letter. Okay, so for the letter class, let's scroll up to the top and create our state called const. We have the letter class and set letter class, like so. It's going to be equals to the use state, and in here I want to pass in a class of text animate, like so. And let's select the state and pass it right there. For the array string, we are going to add the array right there. So for the first character, it's going to be contact with the C, and then we have our O, like so. And let me format it very well. And for the index letter, let me pass in 12. Okay, so we also have to create our use effect. So right after this hook, we're going to go with the use effect, like so. Let me go with my use effect, and let me go with set timeout, and after 3 seconds we want to change the class name to text animate over. So I'll go with set letter class to text animate dash hover, and don't let us forget the dependency array, like so. And yeah, we're good to go. So let me scroll all the way to the bottom. Right after this h2, I'm going to go with fade, and the item is going to fade from the bottom, like so. I'll go with my paragraph tag and paste some text. And for me to get that, let me go to the final code and copy everything, like so. And I'll paste it right there and format the code very well. So right after this div, I'll go with another fade. And this item is also going to fade from the bottom. And in here, I want to go with another div. It's going to have the class name of impute-wrapper. And inside this div, I'll write another div. It's going to have a class name of form-impute-group. Okay, so inside this div, I'll go with the impute tag, and it's going to have the name of name. We have a placeholder of name. We have the value, and it's going to be valid int.name, the hook that we created at the top right there. So we are going to reference the name on the impute tag that represents the name, this one. Okay, so you're also going to pass in the autocomplete and set it to false. I want to format my code very well, like so. And we also want to keep track of the unchanged item. Okay, so anytime we change the item, we want to keep track of it. And we also want to add some kind of functionality. And for now, it's going to be a function, but I'm going to pass in an empty string. Okay, if I navigate to our project and refresh, I think we should see some kind of value, all the things that we've done so far. But now we are not seeing anything. And okay, I think I forgot. Let me import the contact.jsx inside the home component. Okay, so let's navigate to the home folder inside the pages folder and open the home component. So right after the blog, let's import the contact component from // and then contact/contact. Okay, and right after this blog component, let me also go with the contact component that we just import, and yeah, we're good to go. If I navigate to the website, and yeah, currently this is all we have. This is what we've done so far. Okay, and we also want to add some kind of animation when the input is focused. So currently, if this input is focused, we are going to add some kind of animation to it. If this one is focused, we are going to add some kind of animation to it. And for us to do that, let's navigate back to the contact.jsx, and right after the first input, I'm going to go with a span. That's going to have a class name of switch __ bg. And remember that we've already added all the colors in our last tutorials. So this class has already been given some kind of stylings. So if I navigate to our web page now, we should see some kind of pretty good value, like so. Okay, so if the input is focused, the animation is going to be added. So we need to do that for the rest of the input. So all I'm going to do now is to duplicate this one more time, like so. And right after that, I'm also going to change the value around. So the second item is going to be the email. So the name as well is going to be the email. The placeholder is going to be email. And yeah, basically this is what we have. So if I navigate to the web page, you can see what we have right there. Okay, so the placeholder should actually change. So let me go. Okay, and we should see some changes. Okay, now we have the email, the name, and then the email. So what we need to do now is to add some other items to the email input. So right after the span for the email, we are going to add some icons that we import from React icons. So the first one is the BS. And let me scroll to the top and just copy it. So this one is going to be the first icon, like so. And I'm also going to add the second icon, so I'm just going to copy it like so. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Right after the first icon, I'm going to paste in the second icon, like so. Okay, so they are both going to have some kind of classes, and the first class name is going to be exclamation, and the second one is going to have a class name of check circle, like so. And let me write it very well. Okay, so basically this is what we do. This is what we are going to do. And for us to add other inputs, I'm going to duplicate this one more time. And before that, right after this fade, we are going to go with another one. And the item is also going to fade from the bottom. And in here, I want to copy all this from the from input group down to the div. I want to copy it like so and paste it right there. All right. And what I want to do is to change the value around. So the name, instead of name, is going to be the subject. The placeholder is also going to be the subject. And the valid input is going to reference the subject as well, like so. And we are not going to make use of the icons for the subject input, okay? The icons are mainly going to be used for the email and then the text area, because they are both the input that will be required for us to add some kind of functionality, you know. So basically, these icons are going to be added to the email input and then the text area input, okay? So let's navigate back to our text editor. Right after this fade, we are going to add the final input. So I'll go with fade. We're also going to fade from the bottom. We have a div. It's going to have a class name of input dash, or it's actually from dash input dash group. So in here, as usual, we have our text area, and we can get rid of the name, ID, and then the rows, like so. And we're going to add the autocomplete of false. We have the ref is going to target the text area ref that we created up there. And we're also going to add the type of text, and then the placeholder is going to be message. Let me format my code very well. And right after that, we also want to add the name, and it's going to be message. The value as well is going to target the valid input that we created up there, dot message. And the unchanged method that we are going to add also to, for now, is going to be an empty string. And let me write this very well, and yeah, we are good to go. Okay, so right after the span, we can get rid of this and make it a self-closing tag. And right after the text area tag, I'll go with the span. It is going to have a class name of switch underscore bg. And we're also going to add our two icons. So let me copy it from the email icon, and I'm going to paste it right under the span. Okay, so, and let me spell the exclamation very well. I think there's a mistake. And yeah, of course, exclamation, like so. So now let me go to our web page and refresh. And I think we have some kind of issue with, and let's check it very well. And yeah, okay, basically I know the issue. So let's scroll the way to the top, and these icons are coming from the Bootstrap icons. So let's go with our slash and specify the BS. So after that, let's navigate to our web page. The issue should be solved, and yeah, of course it is. Let me refresh the web page so that we can have our subject input and text area input. Okay, currently we are not seeing anything, but this is a big issue. So let's navigate back to our text editor and scroll all the way to the bottom for us to see where the issue is coming from. I don't think there is any issue, but so okay, now it's back. So we have our input right there and it's working fine. So the next thing that we have to do is to add the send button, and right after that we are going to add the contact, the map, and we start adding all the functionality for us to validate our form. Okay, so with that being said, let's navigate back to our text editor. Let's scroll all the way to the bottom, and right after this fade we are going to go with another fade like so, and it's going to fade from the left. So in here I'll go with a button like so. Okay, right. Okay, so this button is going to have a class name of contact dash button and another class of submit dash button, and the type is going to be submit like so. And in here I'll go with a div, and the div is going to contain some span element like so. And then the first one is going to have a class name of bg and another one of switch underscore bg. The span is going to be empty, so I will go with another span, and this one is going to have a class name of base and another one of switch underscore border dash color. It's also going to be an empty span, and then the third one is also going to have a span of class name. The class name is going to be text, and I'm going to pass in some text right there of send message like so. Okay, so right after that, right after the button of the right after the fade, I'm going to go with a reveal, and this item is going to be revealed from the bottom, and in here I'll have my footer, and the footer is going to have a class name of footer like so, and in here I have my paragraph tag, and go with my ampersand and copy to have my copyright like so. I'm passing my semicolon and go with copyright all right reserved and marks like so. Okay, so right after the reveal I'm going to go with another div. Okay, so this div is going to have a class name of Google dash map, and inside the div I want to pass in the map component that we import right there. Okay, so I'm going to import the map component. So basically this is all we have to do for now, and if I navigate to my web page and refresh, we should see some text that says copyright all right reserved, and then the map. So currently we are going to start adding all the map functionality for us to achieve the same result with the one we have right there. So after that, we start adding all the functionalities and the necessary things for us to receive all the emails that we received from our website. Okay, so with that being said, let me navigate to map component. Before I start creating this component, I want to show you the basic setup so that you will have a good understanding on how to work with React Leaflet in your next project. So with that being said, I will navigate to their official website. The link will be in the description below. So when you get here, you can click on Get Started and go to the installation. When you scroll a little bit down, you will see npm install React Leaflet. If you want to go with yarn, you can go with yarn add React Leaflet. But because I've already installed the package, I'm not going to do that anymore. So when the installation is complete, you can go to setup, and right there you will see a custom code that shows you a sample on how to add any map into your project. So what I'm going to do is to copy everything like so and navigate back to my text editor. So inside the return statement, I'll go with my curly bracket and I'll paste the code right there. As you can see, we have some bugs, and that is because we need to import all these components from React Leaflet. So I'm going to go with import and the curly bracket. The first one is the map container, and then the second one is the tile layer. We have the marker, and then we have the pop-up like so, and they are all coming from React-Leaflet. Okay, so when that is done, make sure that you write this very well, container like so, and tile layer. Okay, so when that is done, I think we are good to go. So one more thing that we have to add, it is the custom CDN that is going to add some stylings to the map. If I navigate to my starter code and go to the public folder and open the index.html, inside the head tag, I have two CDN links. The first one is the custom style that is going to be added to the map. And then the second one is the JavaScript CDN that is going to add some functionality to the map. But don't worry, you should see the CDNs in your own project as well, and we can actually start working with this. But like I said, the link to the official website is going to be in the description below, so that you'll be able to follow the steps and guidelines on how to make use of React Leaflet in your next project. So with that being said, I will go back to map component, and inside the center, which is the coordinate, I will pass in the coordinates of my location, and for me it is going to be 6.5244, and for the latitude it's going to be 3.3792, and for the zoom, this is the custom zoom. For the map, the scroll wheel zoom is going to be set to first, and for the attribution inside the tile layer, I'm going to remove it because I don't think it's necessary, and I'll also change the marker to this position right there. Is going to be the same. I'll just paste it, and the pop-up, if I navigate to the official website, and you will see that this is the pop-up, a pretty CSS3 pop-up, which is right here. So we are going to add the same thing as well, but for us, all we are going to do is to say that here is where I live, like so. So basically, this is what we have to do, but in order to add some content on the map, so let's go with div, and the div is going to have a class name of map-content, like so. So inside the div, I'll go with h3, and the h3 is going to have a class name of switch __ color, and inside the h3 I'll specify my name, and right after the h3 I'll go with span and write a aka almarix, like so. And right after the span, I'll go with a br tag and go with another span. And then my location is Lagos. Like so. And right after the span, I'll go with another br tag and go with another span. And inside the span, I'll specify my email and I'll go with almarix web dev, like so. So right after that, let me navigate to our website and refresh. Now if I scroll to the bottom, we are seeing the map right here and then the pop-up. But the issue here is that the map was supposed to be beside the input. And I think the issue is coming from the contact component. So let's navigate back to our contact.jsx. And we can see that right after this form, we were supposed to have the div of map, but it is inside the form tag. So let's cut it out and paste it right after the form. Okay. And if I navigate back to our web page, and right now everything should be working fine, but yeah, of course it is working fine. Okay, we have the contact, we have the map, and then we have the inputs, and I think everything is great. Now that everything is in place, we are going to start adding all the functionalities, and we are also going to make use of email.js in order to receive any messages that is coming from our website. Okay, so to actually get started, we are going to navigate to the official website of email.js. I will leave the link in the description below. So when you get to your docs, scroll all the way to the bottom in your sidebar where you will see the installation. When you click on it, you will be given the guide on how to install the package. So to actually get started, you will have to go with npm install email.js/browser-save. When the installation is complete, click on email.js.send, and right here you will be required to provide your service ID, your template ID, and a public key. Don't worry about the template params. I'm going to show you what that means in a second. And for you to actually get the service ID, the template ID, and the public key, you will need to sign up for free with email.js. So all you have to do is to click on sign up for free and provide all your credentials. In my case, I've already created an account. All I'm just going to do is to sign in and show you where you are going to see your service ID and other necessary IDs for you to configure your email.js. So in my case, I will sign in, like I said, and I'll go to my dashboard. So on my dashboard, when you click on email services, you will see your service ID. So your service ID is what is going to be required in your on the first parameter in your email.js. So right after that, go to email templates, and right here you're going to see your template ID. You will also copy it and paste it right here to configure your item. Don't worry, you're going to do all the functionality in a second. And for the third key, which is the public key, go to account and you will see your public key right here. Okay, so now with that being said, let me navigate back to our text editor and go to contact.jsx. On top, we're going to import image.js that will install, and it's at email.js/browser. And when that is done, we are going to start validating our input in here. So right here, instead of console.log, we are going to go with our event object and prevent the browser from being refreshed when we click on send. And right after that, let me navigate to my completed project, and if I click on send, you will see that we have error sign on the input and then the message, which means we are only going to validate the email input and then the message input. So when a user tries to send a message without providing the email and the message, we are going to show the message that please fill in the required input. So if it keeps on sending the same thing, we are also going to provide the same messages over and over again until the user provides some kind of message, and we are going to display message sent successfully. So for us to actually validate the input, let's navigate back to our text editor, and now we need to destructure the valid input and select the email and message Okay, so let's go back to our onSubmit function, and now I'm going to destructure my object. I'll select the email and the message, and they are coming from the valid int. And right after that, I want to go with my if statement. So if the user doesn't provide the email and if it doesn't provide the message, we're going to display some kind of message. And for that, let us create a separate function for that. So the first one, I'll call it set error, like so. And the error is going to, the function is going to take a parameter. So I'm going to pass in the email ref in order to target the input itself. So I'm also going to specify the text area as well. So I'm going to go with set error, like so. And I'll pass in the message ref. Okay, so right after that, we are going to show some kind of message. So we're also going to create a separate function for that. And inside the parameter, I'm going to go with please fill in the required input, like so. So if the user provides a valid email and message as well, we are going to provide success message. So for the first function, there's going to be set success, and inside the parameter, I'm going to pass in the email ref to target the email itself. I'm also going to pass in the set success, like so, and it's going to target the message ref. And for the message that we are going to show, it is going to be message sent successfully, like so. And for the function, the set error, the set success, and then the show message, let us create the function right up there. So like I said, the function is set error. It's going to be an arrow function, and it's going to take a parameter called input ref. And in here, we want to target the parent element of this input that we passed as a parameter right there. So for example, we select the input with the ref value, like so, and pass in the email ref, because that is how we can select any DOM element with use ref hook. So we are going to select the email input, and we are going to use it to target the parent element of that specific input. So when we grab the parent element of the input, we are going to add some kind of class names to the parent element. For example, if I pass in the error and navigate to my SCSS contact.scss, we will see that I have a class name called error here, and we have some kind of border bottom of 2 pixels solid red. So basically, if the logic says that the user did not provide the necessary information, we are going to display this class name, we are going to display this color under the input to show that the value that the user provides is not valid. And if the class name is success, so we are going to add the border bottom 2 pixel solid green to show that the value that the user provides is all correct. Okay, so with that being said, let's navigate to our contact.jss, and let me get rid of this, like so, and let me scroll all the way to the top where I have my function. So like I said, let's go with my if statement and target the input ref dot current dot parent element dot class list, dot contains. If it contains the class of success, we are going to remove it and add the error class. So let me go with my input ref again, dot current dot parent element dot class list dot remove success, and if that is not the case, else we want to add it. Okay, so input ref dot current dot parent element dot class list dot add. We want to add the error class. All right, so we actually want to do the same thing for the set error, for the set success, my bad. So I'm just going to copy and paste it and change the function name around, set success, and the parameter is going to be the same, the logic is also going to be the same. The only thing that is going to change is the error, the class that I passed. This one is also going to be error, and inside the else block, I'm going to pass in the success, like so. And I think some functions are not well written, so let me write them properly. So for this first one, it is set error, not set zero. And for the set success as well, I think okay, now we are good to go. We also have to create our show message function, and let me go with show message const show message. There's going to be an arrow function, and for now all we are going to do is to console.log message, which we are going to pass as a parameter inside the show message function. Okay, so if I navigate to my web page, scroll all the way to the bottom and click on send, you will see that we have border bottom of 2 pixels solid red on the email input, and then we added the exclamation mark. Okay, the stylings has been added already, so we need to do the same thing for the input. Okay, so let's navigate to my text editor, and for the set error, the parameter that we passed in here shouldn't be the message ref. It was supposed to be the text area ref. The message ref is going to target another thing, and that was a mistake I made. So let me actually change it around. So we are going to do the same thing for the set success as well. So instead of message ref, we are going to pass in the text area ref. So if I navigate to my web page again and click on send, now we can see that we have border bottom of 2 pixels solid red on the text area as well, and then we have the exclamation mark. So what we have to do now is to keep track of any value that the user passed inside the input, because currently if I'm typing my keyboard, nothing is showing. And for us to actually achieve that, let's navigate back to our text editor and let's scroll all the way to the top. Right after the valid input, let's create a function called undo change, and it's going to have a parameter called the event object. And right now we wanted to structure the value. So the first thing that we are looking for is the email, and then the second thing is the value. So now we'll go with our event object, and then we want to target whatever the user passed inside the input. So what we have to do is to set the valid input, and pass in a parameter called the previous value. So the previous value, like so, and then we want to return the object, and I'll go with my spread operator to pass in whatever that is inside the value. And we also want to set the name equals to the value, like so. So basically this is all we have to do. And let's write our return statement very well, like so. And we are going to pass in the undo change function inside the onChange method on our input. So let's go with the onChange. So instead of empty string, we are going to pass in the function that we just create, and we are going to do that for all the inputs as well. So let's get rid of the empty string and pass in the function that we just created. Like so, and let's do that for the last one. So now let me navigate to my web page, and if I try to pass in some text, you can see that I'm able to write something inside the input, but I'm going to pass in my email and some messages. If I click on send and inspect my web page, so now I'll go to the console in order to see the value that we're getting back. So you can see message sent successfully, okay? But if I try to get rid of everything inside the input and click on send, of course we are going to get the error sign, and we are also going to have some kind of value inside the console. So let's check it out. Let's go to the console, and now you can see please fill in the required input. Okay, so basically that is what we are going to do. The next thing that we have to do now is to actually receive all the messages that is coming from this website in our email address. So for us to actually do that, we are going to make use of the email.js that we already installed, and I hope that you've already created an account with them. So if that is in place, now let's get started. So what I have to do is to navigate to my text editor, and when the email and the message that the user provides is true, is valid, we are going to send all the messages to the email.js.send form. And mind you, this is a method on the email.js that we've already imported from email.js/browser, and inside the parentheses, the first parameter is going to be the service ID, but I've already copied everything now. I'm just going to paste it and explain. So the first item is the service ID, and then you go with comma and you pass in your template ID. So the form.current targets all the inputs inside the form element, and then the fourth parameter is the public key. Okay, so right now if I send the message, I'm going to receive it on my email address that I use to configure my email.js account. Okay, so with that in place, we can now send a message to my Gmail account. So for us to do that in action, let me navigate to my web page, and right here I'm going to pass in some name, Almarex, and the email I'll just go with Almarex Web Dev. For the subject, I'll go with testing, and for the message I'll go with hola, subscribe to my channel. And if I send a message, of course the message is already sent, and for us to actually see the message, I'll go to my Gmail account and I'll refresh, and right now you can see a new message. If I open it, you will see Almarex, which is the name, and you got a new message from Almarex, which is the email that I passed inside the email input, and the message is hola, subscribe to my channel. And back to our web page, you can see that all the value are still inside the input. Of course, we need to find a way to tell the user that all the messages has been sent successfully. So when the message is sent, we want to clear the input again and display some kind of message right here, just like the one that we have in the completed website. Okay, so for us to actually do that, the first thing to do right after the show message function, I'm going to go with set valid input, like so, and inside the object I'm going to set all the value back to an empty string when the message is already sent. So I'll go with message, and the value is also going to be set to an empty string. We have the subject, and then we have the email, like so. So if I go back to my web page and write and send the message all again, you can see that now all the value inside the input has been cleared successfully. And the next thing that we have to do now is to show the message right here, because the user wants to go to the console to see the message that is getting back after filling the input. So for us to actually start doing that, we've already created the show message function. So let's navigate to where we have our show message function. Instead of console.log, I'm going to create a variable called div content, and I will assign it to document.createElement. And right now I want to create a div element with JavaScript, and the div content, the text content of this div content is going to be the message that we pass as a parameter inside the show message function. And right after that, we also want to add some class name to the div itself. So I'll go with div content.classList.add, and the name of the class name is div-content, like so. And before I actually continue, I also want to create another div right after the map. So I'll go with div. So the div is going to have a class name of message, and it will have a ref value of message ref, which is the one that we created from the beginning. And we are going to target this div and prepend the new div that we just created inside the message div. Okay, so let's go back, and now I want to go with my message ref dot current to select the div itself, and I want to prepend the div content, like so. And now if I navigate to my web page and click on send, but we should see something here, but we didn't. Do you know why? That is because in our Scss we have added transform and translate x property of 120% on the message, which is the div that we created right after the map right here. So we've set the transform property to 120%, so we can't see it. So for us to actually see the message when we click on send, we are going to add some other methods to the function. So let's go back to our show message function, and right here, instead of console.log, I'm going to create a variable called div content, and I will assign it to document.createElement. And right now I want to create a div element with JavaScript, and the div content, the text content of this div content is going to be the message that we pass as a parameter inside the show message function. And right after that, we also want to add some class name to the div itself. So I'll go with div content.classList.add, and the name of the class name is div-content, like so. And before I actually continue, I also want to create another div right after the map. So I'll go with div. So the div is going to have a class name of message, and it will have a ref value of message ref, which is the one that we created from the beginning. And we are going to target this div and prepend the new div that we just created inside the message div. Okay, so let's go back, and now I want to go with my message ref dot current to select the div itself, and I want to prepend the div content, like so. And now if I navigate to my web page and click on send, but we should see something here, but we didn't. Do you know why? That is because in our Scss we have added transform and translate x property of 120% on the message, which is the div that we created right after the map right here. So we've set the transform property to 120%, so we can't see it. So for us to actually see the message when we click on send, we are going to add some other methods to the function. So let's go back to our show message function, and right here, so now I will target my message ref, like so, and then I want to grab the div itself, and we also want to add some CSS property to it of transform. And right after that, I'll go with my backtick, and then passing translate x, go with my parentheses and then my $sign, write my curly bracket and passing the value of 0. And right after the curly bracket, I'll just write the percentage. And now if I navigate to my current project and click on send, you can see we have some message. Please fill in the required input. If I keep clicking on this send message button, we are also going to get the same message over and over again. So the main issue right here is that the messages are not going to disappear. If I navigate to the completed project and click on send message, we receive the same message, and after some seconds, everything will disappear. So for us to actually add the same functionality to this, let's navigate back to our text editor, and I want to create my set timeout function. And inside the code block, I want to target the div content and add some class name to it. So I'll go with class list.add, and the name of the class that we are going to add is called hide. So basically, in our contact.scss, the hide class has some property of opacity of 0. So basically, after some seconds, we are going to add the class and hide the message that is being shown. Okay, and if I navigate to my current project again and go to contact, if I click on send message, we should see the message, but I think I forgot to specify the duration. So let me go with after 5 seconds. So let's navigate back to our text editor and click on send. So after some seconds, everything should disappear. Okay. Yeah, of course. Even though everything is working as expected, we still have some kind of issue with our functionality. And for me to actually show that to you in action, let me inspect our web page and navigate to our developer console. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, where I have the div with a class of message, if I expand it, we are going to see a bunch of other divs that has a text of please fill in the required input. And basically, it means that every time we click on send and we display the message right here, we are going to prepend it inside the div that has the class of message. And when it's getting too much, this issue can crash our website. And for us to actually get rid of all this, we need to go with JavaScript event and get rid of everything after some seconds, so that we won't be able to see all this div that is being repeated on the web page. And for me to actually do that, let's navigate back to our text editor, and inside the set timeout function, I want to target the div content, like so, and add event listener, and the name of the event is called transition end. And for the second parameter, I'll go with my arrow function, and inside the brackets, inside the code block, I want to target the div content again and remove the div entirely. Okay, so now we can remove the div entirely after some seconds with this transition end event method on JavaScript. So if I navigate back to our web page, I click on send multiple times. Of course, we should get rid of all these messages inside our developer console. So let me navigate back in order to see everything in action. And now let me expand the section tag, and you can see that the message, the div that has the class of message doesn't have any children element because we've get rid of this. So basically that is what we have to do. And for us to actually remove the red borderline and then the exclamation mark after some seconds as well, you also need to add some kind of functionality. So for us to actually do that, let's target the email ref, and we want to select the current value, which is the input itself, and I'll pass in the parent element to give us the parent element. And now I will select the class list, and we want to remove the class name that is on it, which is error. Okay, so we want to do that a couple of times for the success as well. So let me pass in the success class, and I also want to do the same thing for the text area as well. So the only thing that I really want to change is the email ref. So instead of email ref, I'll pass in my text area. And okay, let me go with my two cursors and pass in my text area ref, like so. And of course, that is all we have to do. So if I navigate back to my web page and click on send, so immediately after this one fades away, we should also hide everything that is right here. And I think this one is having some kind of issue, and let me actually go back to see the issue that we have right here. I don't think there is any issue, and let me navigate back to my web page to try it out again. And yeah, of course, everything is working. And basically, this is all we have to do for this particular section. And I think I'm going to stop right now because I'm very tired. And hopefully, in our next tutorial, we are going to continue from where we stopped and build the gaming section. And we also add some other necessary features for us to finally complete our project. So with that being said, I think I'm going to see you in our next tutorial.